Natalia, what is the nicest thing a non-family member has ever done for you?
Well, Phil, thank you so much for the question. I've really loved this series. It's been so uplifting. And even before you asked me to sit with you, I was watching the series myself and just feeling so happy about all the stories I heard. And, I kind of started to think myself, even before you asked me, like, oh, what's my life been like? And maybe it hasn't been like the most remarkable, but I'm really grateful for my life. And, when I look back, I think a lot of small things have touched me in really, really big ways. I think back to, I've studied a lot, so I've had a lot of really wonderful teachers that have helped me along my path. And, of course, one moment stuck out to me though when I was doing this sort of life review. And about 5 years ago, I was living in Massachusetts and I went to study herbalism in this 2-year apprenticeship outside of Boston. And I had a teacher named Madeline, and she was really lovely. And the whole apprenticeship was just beautiful. It was very folky and this like wise woman tradition, a lot of passed down information. And it was a really hands-on approach to plant medicine. And it was just really, it was like exactly what I needed in my life at that time. And it really opened up my world and just empowered me in so many ways. But at one point, I met with Madeline for a health consult. And towards the end of that, we were just chatting about life. And as things were wrapping up, we got to talking. And Madeline's a fan of Jean Hayner's work. And she had been studying her work. And she'd actually gone to study with Jean Hayner. And we even studied a bit of Jean's face reading as part of our apprenticeship and our consult skills, learning about the wonderful path that is everything we can see in the face. About people and personality and things like that. So Madeline had been working with Jean's. It was like a new book she had come out with at the time, her energetic archetype work and the 9-star key. And Madeline was just really lit up about what she had been learning. So she asked me if I wanted to know a little bit about my life using that insight. And I was at this place in my life where I kind of didn't know what I was going to get up to next, which was kind of like a common theme for my life at that point. And so, of course, I was all in. I was like, yes, give me this information. So my path had been like meandering a bit. I'm just interested in a lot of different things. So it had been hard for me to really commit to one thing. And I was always like, what is my purpose? And what am I supposed to be doing with myself? I have a degree in fine arts and I worked as a textile designer, and then I became really obsessed with healthy food. And so I started down this like amateur chef's path, and then I found shamanism and I spent a lot of time creating ceremonies, and I wrote a couple of books, and here I found myself on this herbal path, and I was still kind of like, well, what am I doing with my life? So when Madeline offered this little bit of insight from a new perspective, I was, all in. And, I just felt like at that time, like from the outside looking in, I looked like I might've been that kind of person that was just like all over the place. Like, what is she up to next? So Madeline asked me a few questions and she started to review things. And then she came back to me in this moment when we were still together. And she said, oh, your purpose is to create beauty. And instantly I was like, whoa, is that a thing? Like, that's a purpose? That can be my purpose? And I'm not like the kind of person who like goes for readings and says like, oh, I need you to tell me about myself. But when she said that, I had this like clear, full body and full spirit. Yes, my purpose is to create beauty. And it really it was the simple moment we were sitting together and sharing, and it shifted me at my core. It was like this huge granting of permission. And not that I felt like I needed permission to be who I was, but it was like this self-permission and this self-acceptance that came about from just those few simple words. And creating beauty was a theme I never really could put my finger on. I kind of felt like my work had been disjointed. It was just like, oh, I'll do this and this and this and hop all around because it was fun and I was learning new things and I loved it and I'm really passionate. But of course, through art and design, a goal, of course, of beauty, and also through healing foods and plating food and creating food for other people. What a beautiful creation. And when I sat in ceremony through shamanism and, placing flowers in these beautiful Andean despacho ceremonies, and just with the utmost care and the utmost attention to that detail of making it the most beautiful thing possible. And then when I would work with clients and do healing work, it was this creating this space of beauty for healing. And I really found that theme was like this thread that kind of had gone through my work. And I was like sort of doing this review all in the moment when she said that. And I'm like, yes, yes. Like it was just my whole core, my whole self was just like, so feeling this like complete yes. And that moment was just such a gift to me. Though my self expression is ever unfolding, the idea to hold on to this little gem of creating beauty is like a timeless thread that can connect everything that I do. And I carry it forth to my work here at Shift in holding space and my own projects in herbalism and ceremony. I feel so like complete that I can carry that thread and that kind of overarching umbrella to everything that I do. So I, of course, have great gratitude to Madeline for opening that door for me, and to you, Phil, for the opportunity to just reflect on the beauty of life and share this simple but profound gift that I was given.